Mr. Pachulia, could you talk a little bit about what it's like to live in Atlanta for an athlete from another country?
It's a really nice city, big city, spread, and you can see all kind of people. And in the beginning, I had a hard time, to get used to. But it has been 4 years since I've been playing with the Hawks, and I feel like I'm at home now. I mean, a lot of Georgian people. Actually, it is the second biggest city in U.S. with Georgian population-wise, and met a lot of Georgian people as local people, and I feel like at home, and I feel pretty good living here.
Where do you go for good Georgian food?
Probably the best place for Georgian food is my house, especially when my mom is here. Uh, that's the best thing. We don't have a Georgian restaurant in Atlanta, but we have one in New York. But my house is the best spot for that.
How much time do you spend with other Georgians here in Atlanta?
We're trying to get together, but it's really hard because everybody's working, and if you consider my schedule, so much travel and practice. But we still find some time, especially evenings, to get together and talk about, some stuff, and talk about in your language, that helps not to forget it. Because there are a lot of people here who has been here more than 10, 15 years.
At some point, do you start forgetting your native language?
Well, I mean, you can say, I'm never going to forget my language, but if you don't talk in your language, on any language that you speak, then it's automatically start forgetting. That's the natural thing.
Right. How often do you go back to the Republic of Georgia?
During the season, basically, it's impossible to go there because considering the time of the amount of time that you need to get there, a 20-hour flight, and consider we don't have that much time actually between the games. So basically, every summer, that's only my chance to go back to my country.
Could you talk a little bit about your hopes for the country? And I know it was doing really well in a flourishing democracy, and their economy was doing a lot better. I was just wondering, what are your hopes and dreams for Georgia in the future?
Well, we've been in bad times. My country has been in bad times since I remember, since I was born, and I want to see people in Georgia happy. Obviously, I know you can make everybody happy. It's very hard, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of work, but at least to see the smiley faces. But right now I don't see that, and it's really sad that your people are in that situation. But hopefully, my kids can have that kind of life back in Georgia.
Do you plan to go back to Georgia when your NBA career is over? Or?
I'm planning to play another 7, 8 years here, and it's a long time. I don't know, but for sure I'm not gonna just move from there and not to go there anymore. Of course, I have a lot of friends and a lot of family and relatives, and I'm gonna keep in touch with them. I might not be living there for every day, but definitely I'll be going back and forth.
So you'll always maintain the connections?
Oh, definitely. I can't see myself or my family without my country and without seeing my friends and family.
Were your relatives back in Georgia at the time of the invasion?
There were actually. My mom was there, and I was planning to go in Georgia to play for my national team after 2 weeks that the war started, and basically I got lucky that I didn't go. I wasn't there. I was going to get stuck there, and maybe I was going to be late because, as you know, the airports, they shut down the airport. There were no flights out or in the country, so I was going to stuck there. Maybe I was going to be late for the training camp if I was there.
Were you able to talk to your mother on the phone?
Well, definitely, this was something like not every day, but every hour I was calling her to make sure she was okay, because it's hard to it's your mom, and she's there by herself, and she's a woman, and of course, I have a lot of friends and family, as I mentioned, but when I'm not there personally and I couldn't help it, I'm so far from my country, it was a tough situation for me.
Could you talk a minute about why it's important that Georgia remain an independent democracy?
Well, you know, it's kind of political question, and I'm not really, I'm not trying to be involved in politics, and I'm just citizen of my country, you know, and I want my country to see my country in a good level, people happy, as I mentioned before, and a good life, you know, because these people really deserve it, because not because I'm from there, but it's really good culture and really interesting culture and interesting people live there, and they really definitely deserve the good life. So whatever it takes, you know, democracy we mentioned, there should be democracy.
What about trade between Georgia and the United States? Are there products? I know that the Georgian wine industry is starting to take off, and
Yeah, my country is very famous with the wine, and we have. I've been hearing from different kind of people, and especially when my friends come to my house, I every time have a Georgian wine and open for them, and they love it, you know. And we're very famous with it, and obviously they open the market right now, so they Whole Foods selling the Georgian wine. And that's a good sign. You can go in Whole Foods and buy the Georgian wine, you know, and you don't have to worry about shipping over here.
what about Atlanta restaurant, American food, like the Varsity or whatever? Are there any types of American food that you like, or?
Well, definitely, I've been living here for 6 years. You know, it's not that every day I'm eating Georgian food. I love all kind of food. I'm an international guy, I can say already, because playing in 6 years in Turkey and another 6 years in U.S. make me fall in love with all kind of foods and all kind of culture. And we're living in America, U.S. right now, so I'm definitely in love with the U.S. culture and lifestyle.
The Atlanta Braves recently signed a Japanese pitcher. What advice would you have for him coming to Atlanta? He doesn't actually speak very good English. You do, but I was just wondering, will it be hard for him to adjust?
Well,
do you
first
think,
of all, to learn English, that's must, and it's very important to communicate with the people, to understand people. That makes your life easier. That's the first thing, and just take his time, because as I mentioned before, Atlanta is a big city, you know, so it takes some time to get used to this kind of cities and to enjoying your life in this kind of cities. I had the same experience in Turkey. Turkey is a huge city, 15 million people live there. You know, in the beginning it was so hard because I didn't know places, where to go, what to do. But time basically showing you everything. You know, once you start meeting people, you know, and getting know the city, you know, and know to where to go and what's a good place and what's a bad place, then it's much more easier, you know, for you. Same as Atlanta, and I was lucky that I had the experience from Turkey, from Istanbul, and when I came here, as I said, after a couple months already, I started feeling better.
what do you think about Atlanta traffic?
Again, I had to bring up the Istanbul. I mean, nothing comes close to Istanbul traffic. You can be stuck on a highway for 3-4 hours moving from one place to another place, especially going from European side to Asian side. So I'm not really complaining anything for Atlanta traffic. Especially it's already 6 years being here, and I already know all the roads, all the back roads, you know, so I'm trying to avoid the traffic, so I'm good.
I'm glad we're not the worst.
No.
Do you want to speak to the people back home? Send a message to them?
To stay together is very important, you know, and once the enemy sees you that you're not together and you spread out, they see weakness in you, you know, so that's not a good sign. So stay together and stay strong and motivate each other. That's very important. So then time gonna show us, you know, and with the help of God, God is looking for us, and I hope everything gonna be okay in some time.